I just finished recording part 1, which was the outro and the personality, so now we're going to go over the victory solos. Now, the victory solos are interesting because there's not really too much to them, but at the same time there is. The thing with the victory solos is your method to hitting the part where you're essentially anchoring yellow and you have orange and blue notes, and for a lot of people that has been a troublesome part. So I'm going to try to break it down to make things a little bit easier for you. And when I'm practicing this section, I actually start with break, because this part can also give some people trouble. I might do a transition video from the part before it into break, but here's this part, which isn't really that difficult. If you have trouble galloping, it can be. So here's how I hit the victory solos, essentially. Now this part, I go into third position to hit this. You don't have to, but it makes things easier for me. And then I anchor red right there. You'll see on full speed how well that works. It works out pretty well. And on full speed, you'll see how quick that transition is. But that just gives you a general idea of how I hit it. I also tap those for consistency reasons. And again, you don't have to tap that orange that I just tapped. And that part, you may be good at one-handing it, but I tap a good bit, as you just saw. Okay. So I went over some stuff as I was doing the section, but basically, yeah, you're going to anchor yellow, and then you're going to tap nearly every orange and blue note, and you're just going to alternate between it. You can all tap it if you want, but I never found a consistent way to do it correctly for me, so I just tap, 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 fret it, tap, 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 and then you'll notice that I tapped a random blue note at the end of that sequence where it's like yellow, blue, yellow, red. That, for me, is just for consistency. You don't have to do that, but I found that to be something for consistency-related reasons that works out very, very well. So, yeah, I did that, and then you saw on Victory A that I went into third position. For some reason, I cannot hit that if I'm in second position. I guess I should have explained this in my first video, but this is first position where your index is on the green. Second position, you're on the red. Third, you are in right here, your index is on the yellow, and there is also fourth. I go into fourth twice in the song, and you'll see that in the third video. So yeah, that's first, second, third, and fourth. I'm sure, I mean, I guess there is a fifth, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it. Anyway, yeah, so I go into third, and I slide back to second quickly for the red, and then stay in third, and then I keep red anchored toward the end of Victory A. Victory B is pretty straightforward. On the tapping sequence, I will fret the yellow notes, one-hand them, and then I'll tap the rest. That's something that once you slow it down and break it down, you'll see how easy that is. Just keep in mind that when you tap that last orange, just get your hand back over quickly because you have 3 orange strums following it. And Victory C, same thing. That's something that the first part is the same exact pattern as Victory A. So you're just anchoring yellow, tap, 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 tap. And then you have your sweeps, which is something that some of you may be able to one-hand. I personally cannot. That's why I tapped them, and I found it to be very consistent when I did. So we're going to go ahead and do this on full speed, and you can just see what it looks like full speed. Yeah, that's those collective sections are something that I am very consistent at, and that's how I hit them. And it's something that you will see very high success rate with if you use the methods that I've shown in the video. Just because the movements are very, very fluid. There's not a lot of speed involved transitioning from your the strum bar up to here and back. There's really only one that requires a fast movement, and it's right at the middle of B when you're tapping those last orange notes. You have to get back quickly, but that's really the only time. So yeah, I would highly recommend those for the victory solos. And yeah, I guess that's really all I can offer on them. I think on my next video I'll make a transition from rock and riff again into break, but for now I'm going to go over Devil B, C, and D, because these, in my opinion, are very tricky, but I have, fortunately for you guys, methods to help with that. That being said, Devil Solo B has been one of my most inconsistent sections throughout the entire song, so I will try to offer how I've managed to get my consistency up relatively high. It's probably in the 70 to 80% range. So I'll go ahead and go over, I guess I should break it down individually. C and D really aren't that bad in my opinion, but I think it's worth going over. So here is how I do Devil Solo B. And again, you're going to notice me tapping some unorthodox parts, but again, I do it for consistency reasons. I'm going to actually redo that. I'm so used to playing it at full speed that hitting this on a slower speed has been kind of tricky. Alright, I'll have to show that on full speed. I strum those two blues, tap those, strum those, strum that blue, strum 4 times into that part. And that's basically Devil B in a nutshell. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on full speed for you, but that's Devil B. I know some of you guys watching this will think, well, that's really not that hard. And honestly, it shouldn't be. See, I hit that no problem on full speed. The hardest part of this section is the strumming. The 1 blue strum and then the 3 orange. I would highly, highly recommend that you just strum that 4 times. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to end on it up. And I would anchor red during that entire time. You don't have to, but that's what I do. So you have red anchored, and then you're going to strum 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to lift to blue, orange, and then you're going to finish out the section. That's Devil B in a nutshell. So yeah, there's not really too much to it, but that's how I hit it. Devil C is not that bad, but it can be tricky. I will show you exactly how I hit this section. Hopefully this will give you some insight if you're having trouble with this particular one. So, a couple things with that section. The first part of it's really just hand coordination. You've got the strumming, and then you've got yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, and then you have a descending quad into a blue hopo. For me, well, blue hopo sustained. For me, I will hit that descending quad. I will anchor green. I'm pretty sure I anchor green. And then I will slide into second and hit that blue. So slide into second, hit that blue, and then you've got a zigzag, which you can tap those yellows if you want. I used to, but I don't anymore. I just one-hand them. And then you'll notice that I tap the blues, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 4. And then you'll notice that I anchor the last orange. I do that because when I anchor that orange, then when I go back to my strumming, I can just strum that note real quick. So I strum 1, 2, and then I believe it's a blue, and you're going to slide to first, and then you're going to strum the blues there. And then you'll notice something. I don't know if you did pay attention or not, but when I was fretting the ascending trips, there's a couple ascending trips, you'll notice I tapped 2 blues. The reason I tap those blues is because after that last blue, they transition to the next note, which I believe is a red, is very smooth. If you don't tap those, it can be kind of tricky to slide and not break your combo. So I tap it and then I slide. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that section on full speed, and I'll point at some other things if I think of them. So another thing that I do is I slide to yellow 1, 2, I think it's 1, 2, 3, and then you'll notice that I stay in first position to hit that red. You can slide to that red if you want, but to slide, that's a lot of sliding. Sliding from green to red and then anchoring yellow is fine, so 1, 2, 3, but if you slide from green back to red to green back to red again, that's double the sliding you have to do. So 1, 2, 3, so it's or it might be 2. 1, 2, it's probably 2. Either way, when you get to that solitary red where there is no yellow, hit that in first position. And then the very last part, you'll notice that I tap 2 blues. That's something that's optional. If you feel like you really need to, go for it. But otherwise, I wouldn't even worry about it. Alright, Devil D. This section can be tricky, but there's really not too much to it. You'll see how I hit it. This is a section that I've never heard anybody give complaints about. But just in case, because I have had trouble with this in the past. Alright, so really nothing much to it. You'll see that I tap some blues and some oranges. I'll show you on full speed what it's like. So, yeah, there's really not much to Devil Solo D. It's a relatively simple section with a little bit of tapping. If you slow down the stuff on full speed, if that makes you feel better, or just rewatch what I did on slowest, go for it. The only thing I did on full speed that I didn't do on slowest is you'll notice that I strum a random descending, I guess that'd be a descending quint at that point. It's an orange. I do that, again, for consistency reasons, because I have missed that orange before, so I make sure I don't miss it anymore. E and F are really not that bad. E can be kind of tricky, but, again, if anybody really wants me to do that section, then I will. So we'll go ahead and move on to the sections that I said I was going to do in my intro video, and that is G and H. The only reason I'm including G is because of the transition into H is very, very, it can be tricky. It can definitely be tricky. And it took me a while to figure out a method, but this is the one that works for me. So, G itself is not that bad. I tap those blues for consistency, but you don't have to. And then right here, I go into third position. And I one-hand the first blue and orange, alt-tap these, and then I've hit that end part a couple different ways, and then this part right here, I actually go into third and slide to second, because that transition right there when you hit that yellow is so much easier if you slide, and then you can go ahead and just hit the yellow, blue, orange, blue, and end on the sustain. So I'm going to go ahead and show you on full speed what that looks like. And I will show you how I hit that part where I said I've had a different method before, which is coming up. I'll show you how I hit it now. That's how it's... Also, one thing to note, there's sometimes an orange note that shows up in those trips for some odd reason. I really don't know why. So we're going to try this again. I'll show you the old way I used to hit it. That's the old way, and I might actually start going back to that. So yeah, I would tap the orange descending trip, I would tap the orange, and then I would tap the 2 blues. For some reason, I had a period where I was not very consistent at it, but now I am. So yeah, that's G and H. If you have any other comments or concerns, just refer to my first video. And yeah, that's really it. If you like the video, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. If I can explain things a little bit better, let me know. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a third video explaining just some general sections that pre-solo that people have had trouble with. Maybe some transitions I think would be very useful. Any other information that I think would be useful in trying to FC this song. All right.